Hello, darkness, my old friend. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Waiting, 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 waiting. Wait some more. Good evening, Kitty Coo. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Kitty Coo. Gianna Marie, good evening. I hope you both had a terrific weekend. Welcome to Trivia Night, the 352nd episode of Trivia Night. And Lemon Pie, howdy. Howdy to you as well, Lemon Pie. Welcome, 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 one and all, to another Trivia Night, the 352nd Trivia Night to be exact. Tonight, we are answering questions about the Happy Face Killer. And I have a smudge on my glasses and it's driving me nuts. So, talk amongst yourselves. Well, I get rid of this smudge on my glasses because it's driving me nuts. Good evening, Cement Shoes. Still there. I think I managed to make it worse. Ah, there we go. Gone. All day long, I thought today was Monday and I missed trivia. Well, it's Sunday still, and you haven't missed it. You're not even late. That's a good thing. I've had things like that happen, where I thought it was another day completely. There was once about a couple months back where Friday morning I woke up and I thought, oh my God, I got to get ready for the Saturday morning page 2 news. And then when I sat down here in my studio to go do it, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even finished it yet. I went into a panic. Then I realized today's Friday. It's not Saturday morning yet. That happens though. Good thing is you didn't miss it. I'm going to give it another minute here and then we're going to get going on tonight's trivia. Again, all the questions tonight are on the Happy Face Killer. Keith Hunter Sepperson is his name. He was known as the Happy Faced Killer. 20 multiple choice questions if you're new here joining us, all displayed on screen along with the possible answers, multiple choice answers. Four possible answers to choose from, A, B, C, or D. Or make up your own and make it E. Another 10 seconds and we're going to get going. It's kind of funny. I've been watching this all day long in different live streams. And people are like, they joined and then they've been like dropping off. I was watching my friend's live stream and he lost like 400 people in his live stream all at once, like that. So you kind of wonder, does that thing actually work or is there really only just 4 of you here? And nobody wants to watch me do trivia anymore. All by myself. All right, let's get the trivia night going. This again is the 352nd episode of True Crime Trivia. This program documents actual crimes and offenses by criminals. Some of the content covered here may not be suitable for all audiences. This trivia night is strictly adheres to factual evidence and verified data from the FBI Department of Justice. It does not include conspiracy theory, speculation, unverified claims about what may have happened. If you're seeking sensationalism like that, or content related to similar theories or lies spread by those who can't be bothered to do the research on the topic, this event and topic may not be the right fit for you. Neither I nor my advertiser or sponsors associated with this content shall be held responsible for individuals under the age of 17 accessing this. I restrict the access to every one of my trivia nights and Saturday morning live streams to those of 17 years of age or older. If someone under the age of 17 is accessing this, they're doing so because they have lied or done something else or using someone else's account. Again, it's restricted to every venue I stream to. Additionally, we are not liable for the comments or live chat messages as they do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of ours. This is not for YouTube. That is for the other avenues and venues that I stream to. You shouldn't just take this information as entertainment. You should also take it as an education. That is an exact quote from Marcus Lattimore. With that said, question number 1 on the Happy Face Killer is now on your screen. And good evening, Inner Peas. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Inner Peas. Question number 1. What is the real name of the Happy Face Killer? Is it A, Keith Hunter Jesperson, B, Keith David Jackson, C, Kenneth Michael Jackson, or D, Cole Hunter Jesperson? Question number 1 of 20. And there is your little Will in his little window. Will in his little window. Well, I would hope that more people would be here to watch this live. But on average, after the stream is over with, I will see between 100 to 250 more people who will watch it in the next 24 hours after the stream is done. And there never does seem to be in a time of the day on Sunday that fits with everyone's schedules. So all I can do is just do my program, greet those who are here, and have fun with what I'm doing. Lemon Pie is going with E, Polly Montgomery Shore. Yeah, there's that Polly Shore again. The blasted, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids. What is the real name of the Happy Face Killer? The correct answer is A. A as in apple. Keith Hunter Jesperson is his real name. The Happy Face Killer. Question number 2. How did Keith Jesperson get the nickname the Happy Face Killer? Was it A, anonymous confessed, signed with, anonymously consigned his letters and stuff like that with just a happy face, meaning that. B, media gave it to him afterwards. C, law enforcement gave it to him. Or D, he called police and said he was it, saying that he confessed on the phone to the police that he was the Happy Face Killer. Which one is the correct answer for question number 2 on the Happy Face Killer? Good evening, Kitty Q. Yes, it would be nice if I could, get 100 plus people to take part in this. I don't understand why. I mean, when I used to do trivia nights on Fridays, we didn't get 100 people then, and I had the same thing. 150 to 200 people would watch it afterwards within the first 24 hours. I think a lot of it is, doing live streams is so flooded, with other content. Someone's going live and there's like 15 other channels to pick from, 15 other pieces of content to choose from. And good evening, Lita. Welcome to tonight's trivia. But yes, it would definitely be nice to have 100 people in here all at once. All right, question number 2. The correct answer is A as in apple. He wanted to remain anonymous when he confessed in his letters that he had sent to the media and to law enforcement. And he signed all of his letters and correspondence anonymously with just a happy face at the bottom of each and everything that he sent them. Now, make sure that you understand this if you're learning this for the first time. It wasn't just letters that he sent to law enforcement and to the media. Some of them were newspaper clippings about his murders and crimes. He would clip them out of the newspaper or whatever he had seen and then draw a happy face on it and then mail it to him. So they weren't just letters that he wrote himself. All right, question number 3. What was Jesperson's occupation during and before his killing spree? Was it A, a mountain lion tamer, B, a doomsday book author, C, a long haul truck driver, or D, a line cook at Denny's? He says lemon pie. Excessively used happy face emojis in text. Question number 3 of 20. What was Jesperson's occupation during, before his killing spree? We got C and C so far, and D. And Gianna Marie with a C. Scatty Nona. Good evening, Scatty Nona. Scatty Nona anyway, aquatic life. I like the addition, Scatty Nona. Good evening, and I'm glad you're here with us today, Scatty Nona. For question number 3, what was Jesperson's occupation during and before his killing spree? The correct answer is C, as in cat. He was a long haul truck driver. Long haul truck driver. Did you know, as a countermeasure so law enforcement could never know who killed the victims, Jesperson mutilated and disposed of bodies in remote areas. Almost all these areas were only accessible by hiking and not nearby roads or road accesses. He would take these individuals, and some of them he dismembered into multiple pieces and put them into backpacking bags, and then went out into the deep, deep forest to get rid of their remains. Others he put into small bags and folded over like a taco, I'm sorry, and then stuffed them into a bag and then put that attached to a backpacking rack and then took them and dumped them complete, in the middle of the woods or off, in near like a body of water, someplace that was not accessible to a road. So no one would just be driving along and find the body. Yeah, lovely man, isn't he? Question number 4. Which decade, it should be in which decade, did Jesperson commit most of his murders? Was it A, 1960s, B, 1990s, C, 1980s, or D, 1970s? Question number 4 of 20. In which decade did Jesperson commit most of his murders? Good evening, Callie Lisa, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend. Wow, that's creepy. I wonder if he did that to both to avoid detection and also because he wanted to continue his time with them. Both, Sketty Nona. Both is actually the correct answer. He did it as a countermeasure to throw off law enforcement, and those he dismembered and hiked out into the mountains to get rid of. He purposely dropped their body parts or got rid of body parts in multiple areas, so they would not find a complete body. The ones that he did keep complete and discard as a whole, they believe he spent more time with them and wanted to revisit them later on. Lemon Pie is going with the roaring 20s. I don't know this one very well, says Sketty Nona. Maybe B. All right, question number 4. The correct answer is, in fact, B as in boy. The 1990s is when he committed his murders. Question number 5. How many murders did Jesperson claim to have committed? Was it A, 1 or 2 around 144,000? B, under 140? C, over 180? Or D, 160 to 165? We are looking for what he said exactly. His quote. I know, well, gee, under 140 could be, anything, or over 180 could be anything. Yeah, but we're looking for his exact quote. What did he say? How many murders did he commit? It is so personal to have them literally on himself, to himself, yes. Lemon Pie is going with C, over 180. What did Jesperson claim was his murder count? Lisa is going with D. And repeats 188,000? Sketty Nona, Lita, Gianna Marie are all going with D. Question number 5. Cement Shows is going with B. Question number 5. The correct answer is D, as in dog. When law enforcement asked him, how many murders did you commit? He said, I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was 160 to 165. That is what his exact quote was to the detectives that were talking with him after he was captured. He could not remember the exact number. Question number 6. Because of lack of physical evidence, how many murders was Jesperson officially convicted of? Was it A, 8, B, 28, C, 38, or D, 68? Question number 6 of 20. How many murders was Jesperson actually convicted of? You think there were some duplicates in his count? 11 pi. He can't count. Lita says this man is super creepy. He is. He is really creepy. There are some really good books on him if you want to read them. I don't have a particular one to pitch to you, but I've read quite a few excerpts of different books while putting this trivia together on Jesperson, along with his complete FBI file, which is 197 pages in length, the FBI's own file. They did a lot. They sent two behavioral analysis units to experts who work in the behavior analysis unit to speak with him in prison. Two different ones on two different occasions to learn more about him. He was definitely a unique individual, as in he didn't kill and hunt the same way a lot of other serial killers have done in the past. His method of operandi, how he got the victims wasn't all that unique. It's what he did with them afterwards. All right, question number 6. The correct answer is A as in apple. He was only convicted of 8 murders. 8. Of the 160 to 165, the FBI believes that he may have only killed right around 20 or maybe 25. That the rest of it was just him bragging. Excuse me. They think he was just bragging, making it up so, for shock and awe. But they don't believe he killed anywhere near over 100. But he is still a very unique individual and killer, and they've learned a lot from him, from his conversations. He freely talked about it afterwards with anyone that just wanted to write to him or talk to him. Did you know, long before law enforcement would ever have a name or a face to know who the happy face killer was, they had DNA evidence, eyewitness testimony, and other evidence. It was a matter of time before he would be caught. They just didn't know who he was. They were narrowing it down to either a long haul truck driver, someone who worked as a mechanic at in and around semis and freight trailers, or it was somebody who was connected to that industry, either a driver who came to fill up the fuel tanks. There was a bunch of different areas, but they knew it had to be someone who was there for a short period of time, left and could come back, or was there and could be gone for weeks on end and then come back again. But they knew it was connected in and around that industry. They just didn't know who he was. They didn't have a face, to put to it, a name to the case. But they had mountains of evidence leading up to it: physical, DNA, eyewitness testimony. This person was last seen with this individual. Multiple people saw this individual, but they just didn't have a name until he was caught. Question number 7. Maybe not the first victim. However, the FBI lists this person as the earliest known official victim. Who is it? Is it A, Tawana Scott, B, Margaret Hand, C, Tawana Bennett, or D, Michelle Davidson? Maybe not the first victim. However, the FBI lists this person as the earliest known victim. Who is it? Question number 7 of 20. He may have stalked. Maybe. We don't know. And when it comes to, and even the FBI in their own file, they believe that when it comes to this question right here, they don't know that if this is the first victim, but this is the first official victim that they have put on him as part of his body count. He may have killed before that, but he didn't want to talk about it. Some of the victims were definitely more personal to him, like a lot of serial killers. There's victims that just don't want to talk about. I didn't they'll either say they didn't kill that person or they don't know anything about that person or what happened to them. And even when the evidence is presented in front of them, here we have your DNA, we have this evidence and this evidence and this evidence against you and the murder of this person, they won't say anything because they're personal to them. For some reason, they feel a connection to these people, these victims, or particulars. Not all serial killers, but a vast majority of them are that way. Even Ted Bundy had, victims that he didn't want to talk about. Bob Barker. Bob Barker. The price is wrong, Bob. All right, question number 7. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Tawana Bennett. Amelia Earhart says cement shoes. Tawana Bennett is the first individual that the FBI knows for a fact that the Keith Hunter Jesperson actually murdered, but they're not willing to say that is the absolute first person. They believe there is a chance that he did kill at least one, maybe two before her, but that is the first official one that they were able to claim. Look, we know he killed her. This is the person, because there was eyewitness testimony that linked him to her, and her disappearance, and him being the last person that saw her alive, and then they found her remains. So she's listed as the first known victim, not most likely not the first. Let's just say it that way. All right, question number 8. Always wanting to be the person who you should be scared of, why did Jesperson confess to the murder of Tawana Bennett? Was it A, he wanted the credit for it? B, he just loved the fear in others? C, he dreamed of killing her? Or D, he had planned to kill her later? Question number 8 of 20. Question number 8 of 20. Tonight, I am drinking Liquid Death, Dr. Death. Flavored sparkling water, murder your thirst. Liquid Death should sponsor my content. God knows I drink enough of their water per day. I probably drink 5 of these a day, every day, and I would drink more if they would sponsor me. But they're not a sponsor, not even an affiliate. Question number 8 of 20 on the Happy Face Killer. Always wanting to be the person you should be scared of. Why did Jesperson confess to the murder of Tawana Bennett? The correct answer to question number 8 is A, as in apple. Another couple, 2 other murderers, had taken credit for killing Tawana Bennett, and he was pissed. Jesperson was absolutely outraged. You can find part of, I believe it's on it's on YouTube. You can find the actual interview that shows him in the interrogation room, and he is livid to the point where he can't believe that another couple of murderers took credit for his handiwork, his job, what he did. And that is one of the reasons why his ultimate downfall was he just could not get past that somebody else had the gall to take credit for one of his jobs, one of his murders. And he considered every single one of his murders a job. It was like, I have to do this. I was called to do this. This is what I do. Yes, Kenneth Hunter Jesperson. It was a job to him, like anything else. All right, I have to move this freight from this job, this site to this job. That's my job. I move it from here to here. I go up and down the freeway, moving stuff from here to here. That's my job. My job is also to kill people. That's how he looked at it all. He has no it's so disassociated from the actual thing itself. Hey, you were taking some people's lives. He didn't look at it that way. He was doing a job. Good evening, Broken Justice, and welcome to tonight's trivia. All right, next. Question number 9. What was unusual about all the letters Jesperson sent to the media outlets? Was it A, he included hair from victims? B, he signed the name in blood? C, he signed each one with a smile face? Or D, he signed all letters Barry Morphew? Excuse me. Right, Sketty Nona? I mean, it fits. It's all I talk about, unfortunately, is death and dismemberment and murder and the awful things that people do. Maybe that's why they don't want to be associated with me. Liquid death. Murder your thirst. Smoke them if you got them. All right, question number 9. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Again, he signed all of his letters and correspondence with a smiley face. And not only letters that he wrote, but other newspaper articles and things that he sent to the media and to the law enforcement. He always just closed it with a smile face. And there were quite a few of them. Quite a few. I don't have an official count. Not even in the FBI file to say how many pieces of letters and stuff like that he sent to media. It just mentions that he wrote and contacted television and newspaper stations with letters and correspondence and articles that he had clipped out of newspapers. It doesn't say how many, even in the file. But I'm guessing there was quite a few because in the FBI's file, it did mention how many times he wrote to law enforcement in one chief of police. He kept on writing him over and over again. And I know that one was 23 letters. So that's actually numbered in there on how many times. But how many? If he sent him 23, maybe he sent 23 to the media outlets. So for 46 total, but we don't know because they didn't exactly turn them over all the time. They probably opened up like kind of like the Zodiac, ciphers and stuff like that. That he had sent to the media outlets. The first couple, ones that they got, they're just like, it's junk, and they just threw it away, or they left it on a desk and they're like, whatever, another quack letter, because they get so many of them. So there are probably some that they didn't even bother to count. All right, question number 10. After a prolonged manhunt, what year was Jesperson finally arrested and charged with murder? Was it A, 1999, because it's the party year? B, 2525, because man is still alive? C, 1995, because it's a good year to confess? Or D, 1986, because it's a manic Monday? BTK, wrong floppy. I just stumbled, Kitty Q, speaking of that, I just stumbled across an Esty listing that has a picture of a floppy disk and it has Dennis Rader's face on it on a t-shirt. And it says, wrong floppy, Dennis. Good evening, Sal. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Sal. Question number 10 of 20. After prolonged manhunt, what year was Jesperson finally arrested and charged with murder? Question number 10. The correct answer is C, as in cat, 1995, because it's a good year to confess. And all the other options are all song related. Manic Monday, it was released in 1986. 2525 is a song, and Party Like It's 1999. Well, we know who did that one. All right, that is our first 10 questions. It is now time for you to enjoy a 7-minute break. During this 7-minute break, I'm going to highlight 2 cases of missing individuals across the United States. For the next month, well, the remainder of the month of April, all of these cases that I am highlighting, all are coming to you from the Doe Network. And if you want, you can read through this, but basically, in a nutshell, I'm working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Charlie Project, the FBI, NamUs, Doe Network this month only, and local and state law enforcement to highlight cases to help bring resolutions to these missing cases. Our first one tonight is Linda M. Adams. Was age 15 when she vanished on 6/1 of 1978 in Yakima, Washington. That is how most people say it, but it's actually pronounced Yakima because it is a Native American, tribal leader, Yakima, Chief Yakima. But she was 5 foot tall, 125 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Again, she vanished on 6/1 of 1978 and has never been seen again. There is no age progressed image of her, what she would look like in 2025. Details of disappearance. Linda was last seen on Pompano Road in Yakima, Washington on June 1st, 1978, and she has never been heard from again. Because Linda was a chronic runaway, her disappearance was not reported to police until 2004. Yes. During the years between 1977 and 1978, that final year before she disappeared for good, Linda had ran away from home 6 times in that 1-year period. But she was never gone for longer than 2 or 3 days at a time, and that's 6 times that she disappeared. But this time, she vanished for good. If you know anything about what may have happened with Linda, and I will show you the age picture, again, that is what she looked like in 1978. If you know anything about what may have happened to Linda, or you are Linda yourself, there is no, warrant for your arrest. You have not broken the law other than you were, reported missing. And there are people out there that are still looking for you to this very day. You can call the tip line and you can remain anonymous at this tip line number, area code 509-574-2500, or leave a tip on the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Since she would be an adult at this point in her life. She is free to do whatever she wants, but since she disappeared as a juvenile, she is still listed on the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NamUs, and the Charlie Project, along with the Doe Network. She is listed on all of them, plus additional ones for Yakima. Next case is Leonard Rader Jr., no relation to Dennis Rader. at all, any way, shape, or form. Dennis Rader would be 49 years old as of 2025. He went missing on 4/1/1998. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a complete typo. He disappeared from Minong, not Minnesota, Minong, Wisconsin, not Minnesota. He is 6'1", 180 pounds, with blue eyes and brown hair. And I know that the brown on this one is for, scars or tattoos. No, that it's supposed to be hair. It's missing a line there for some reason, and I don't know why. I tried to correct this before we did tonight's trivia, but I couldn't get the damn thing to load correctly. Anyways, Rader was last seen by his attorney and his brother in Minong, Wisconsin on April 1st, 1998, and he has never been heard from again. He had previously left a suicide note for his family members, and few details are known about what happened to him after this point. Did he actually go through with it and take his life? And if so, where are his remains? Several of his close family members, including his brother and his attorney, have since passed since he disappeared in 1998. Those two people are no longer with us, who were the closest people to him. The attorney, and why was he at the attorney? Because he had just settled the estate from his parents' inheritance. They left 50% of the inheritance to him and 50% to his brother. Well, his brother has now, passed on, and his inheritance passed on down to his kids. All of the money of what was left of Rader Jr.'s estate was sold off and has been being held in a trust account in case he is ever to turn back up again. That money is being held in a legal law firm's trust account. But if you know what happened to, Rader, you can call 715-369-6196, and you can remain anonymous. Or you can call and leave a tip with the Minong, Wisconsin Police Department or the Wisconsin State Patrol. And you can remain anonymous with those ones as well and leave a tip if you know where he is or what really truly happened to him and where his remains may be found. But he is, again, April 1st, 1998. So he's been missing for what, almost 27 years now. Well, over 27 years. Today's headline story doesn't have to mean forgotten tomorrow. Please help bring home Orrin and Orson West and others today. Orrin and Orson were ages 4 and 3 at the time they were killed by their adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West, who have been convicted of their murders, their deaths, but yet are refusing to tell law enforcement where their remains are. And the likelihood, someone asked me in a message last week after the trivia night, if that's the case, and they're not telling anybody because they are fighting the appeals, and will they do so afterwards? And if so, how long does it take for the appeals process to work through? Trezell, I can't answer for Jacqueline, but I can answer for Trezell. Trezell himself, if he is to file every avenue to appeal, it could take up to 30 years for the appeals process to work through before he would be out of appeals. And would he tell the law enforcement then in 30 years? If he lives long enough, he may not even live 30 years in prison. His health wasn't exactly, tip-top shape in the way it was, and if he does, in 30 years from now, is anyone going to remember Orrin and Orson West? Just because they were headline news yesterday does not mean that they should be forgotten tomorrow. We need to bring them home to help get closure for the friends and family of these two little boys. You still have 2 minutes exactly left of your break. 2 minutes. It is insane, Kitty Q. And the likelihood is, in 30 years from now, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would say that the chances are slim to none that in 30 years they're going to tell law enforcement what happened. Could the state come to them and offer some kind of like reduction of sentence if they gave up the location? Maybe. And even then, they could send them on a wild goose chase. Well, you give me a reduced sentence, I'll tell you where they are. Okay, they're down this road about 125 feet, left-hand side near this rock out in the desert. They could say something like that. All right, well, you're going to take us to where you buried them. And they could drive up and down some dirt road forever. And then what do you do if you can never find the bodies then? I will remember, and I'm sure you will, and so will all the others. We'll always remember those little boys and what happened, and them in their fake freaking tears on in the evening news, crying for whatever happened to them. Oh my God, they got out of the backyard. Whatever. One minute left of your break. 1 minute. Very well could have happened, Sketty Nona. Very well could have happened. I personally don't think that the boys, if they were alive when the West family moved to that house, I don't think that they were alive very long afterwards. I think that if they ever made it to that house, I think there's a chance that they were definitely killed in the apartment. And what did they do with the bodies? I don't know. If I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be here right now. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'd be out in the desert digging up, the bodies or helping law enforcement find them if I knew anything. But my hunch is, that if they did make it to that house, they did not have, a long, time there. All right, we are back from our break, ladies and gentlemen. Without further delay, let's get back to our normal programming. And let me get myself in my little window here. Hello. All right, question number 11. Law enforcement believed the killer was in California. Where was Jesperson actually at when he turned himself in, shocking law enforcement? Was it A, Texas, B, Arizona, C, Washington, D.C., or D, Idaho? State and local and federal authorities were searching in the entire state of California, focusing on the northern part of California, just below the Oregon border. They believed that there were, 2 truck drivers and 2 former mechanics that had worked in that area, and in Arizona as well, at the time, that possibly could have been the individual who was killing these women, i.e., the happy-faced murderer. But they were focused on California like nothing. They're like, he's got to be in California because he can't be here anymore. But where was Jesperson actually at? Shocking. I mean, absolutely blowing them away when he, walked into the police department and confessed to the crime. New Jersey Shore House. Deal at Disneyland. No clue, says Kitty Q. On a water slide. Question number 11 of 20. Where was Just Person at? The answer to question number 11 is B as in boy. He was in Arizona, and they were focused on the state of California, and all of their resources was looking at the state of California and plotting, the different freeway systems from Northern California up into Oregon and Washington and Idaho, Wyoming, to how this person could have gotten in and out of that area, and that's what they were focused on. And Jess Person was right there underneath their where they were originally started out as for their task force in Arizona. He was right there the whole time, and they just didn't see him. All right, question number 12. Okay, this one sounds too hard to be real, but it is. What is the last thing Jess Person did before turning himself and confessing to the murders? Was it A, he had a Grand Slam meal at Denny's? B, he wrote a confession on a bathroom wall? C, he called his mother and confessed? Or D, he called Art Bell talk show and confessed? Question number 12 of 20. This one sounds too hard to be real, but it is. What is the last thing Jess Person did before turning himself and confessing to the murders? What is the last thing he did? We got Callie Lisa's going with A. Lemon Pie is going with C. Cement and Lita going with A. Sal B. The Finn. Good evening, The Finn. I used to listen to Art Bell every night. So did I. Until, close to the end, I got busy. I loved Art Bell. Great show. That, and I would also listen to the Prairie, was it Prairie House Companion? Prairie House. It was another show. It was on talk radio. But I didn't hear his confession. And Lemon Pie is going with E. He won ice skating at the Olympics. What? Interviews. He was a guest on the Dr. Phil show. Dr. Phil is going out there making headlines right now, helping ISIS round up illegal aliens. That is what Dr. Phil's doing. That in talk shows like Joe Rogan's podcast. Got to do something in your retirement, right? All right, question number 12 of 20. Sorry. The correct answer is B as in boy. On a bathroom stall at a gas station truck stop with a black Sharpie marker, he wrote a complete confession to each and every one of the happy face killings that that law enforcement knew about at that time, but at least he was sure that they knew about. He wrote it on a bathroom wall in black Sharpie marker. After he turned himself in and confessed to the crimes, he told them, I wrote a confession on the wall of that bathroom at that truck stop. And they're like, what? And they went there and they photographed the entire thing. I mean, he had to be in there for a while because it went from almost to the ceiling all the way down the wall to almost to the floor, I'd say about 1.5 feet from the floor, but it was an entire wall of his confession. All right. Question number 13. Which family member of Jesperson's realized he was a serial killer and eventually wrote a memoir about it all? Was it A, his daughter Melissa Moore, B, his brother David Cantor, C, his wife Sarah Jesperson, or D, Polly Shore? Just for you, Lemon Pie. You can actually answer Polly Shore this time, and it is an actual option this time. Huh? Huh? Maybe you'll get a free Tesla. Lemon Pie is going with A, not Polly Shore. What? Is that even an option for Lemon Pie? Mandy Moore, Samuel Jackson. Hey, I'm following suit. Question number 13 of 20. A lot and lots and lots and lots of A is the options. So Finn's going with A as well. Well, the correct answer to question number 13 is A as an apple. A is daughter Melissa Moore actually wrote a memoir about knowing that her and finding out her father was a serial killer. In the picture you see here, that is Dennis Quaid, the actor who actually portrayed the happy face killer in the movie. Dennis Quaid played Jesperson in the actual movie. But Melissa Moore, his daughter, wrote all about it. Did you know the FBI file on Keith Hunter Jesperson? They actually came close to catching him on two separate occasions. However, he slipped away minutes before. The FBI actually investigated if someone else was tipping him off, either a long haul truck driver, a clerk at a store, a parts counter employee, and they never closed that part of the investigation. So let me tell you a little bit more about this. On two separate occasions, the FBI had narrowed in that they believed that the happy face killer was either at a particular truck stop or a rest area where truckers would pull over, and where log purposes have to be off the road, and they believed that he was in one of these two areas. And moments before they got there to go and talk to and investigate the crime, Jesperson slipped away, like minutes before they got there in each of them. And they believed that somebody else may have been tipping him off. Did he have somebody that was telling him, hey, I just saw, a bunch of police presence or people were poking around here, or something else tipped him off? Or was it a person who told him, that law enforcement had been been around asking questions and that tipped him off? They never did close that part of the investigation. Even after Jesperson was convicted, went to prison, everything else, that part of the investigation is still open, technically open. But even though they've caught the happy face killer. Question number 14. What is the name of the Lifetime Network movie about the happy face killer? Is it A, Happy Life, Happy Kills? B, Deadly Woman, Born to Kill? C, Always Sunny and Happy in Arizona? Or D, Diesel Miles of Death? Question number 14 of 20. What is the name of the Lifetime Network movie about the happy face killer? He smiled. The interview says, He smiled and they said, "Oh, he's happy. He's okay." What is the name network movie about the happy face killer? Question number 14 of 20. Do, 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 do. And the correct answer to question number 14 is B. B as in boy. Deadly Women Born to Kill. The series is called Deadly Women. The actual episode of the show on Lifetime Network is called Born to Kill. The untold story of the happy face killer. But Born to Kill. It's part of the series Deadly Women. Oprah. Question number 15. So many people, so little time to kill them all. How did Jesperson target his next victim? Was it A, escort services, B, cashiers at truck stops, C, sex workers at bars at truck stops, or D, sex workers working truck lots? So many people, so little time to kill them all. How did Jesperson target his next victim? Question number 15 of 20. The Whoopi Goldberg story. Oh my God. That's the name of the Lifetime movie. The Whoopi Goldberg story. Question number 15 of 20. Wow. It's question number 15 of 20. Wow. Kitty Q is going with D. Question mark. I don't know. It could be D. Could be. I don't know. Cast members of the Jersey Shore. Alrighty, the correct answer to question number 15 is, in fact, D as in dog. Sex workers who are working truck lots. Not just truck stops, but lots where truck drivers would pull over and actually have to pull off the road because they're only allowed to, they have to be off the road for so many hours. And these sex workers would work from truck to truck to truck, in these lots. And they're depending upon what part of the U.S. you're in or who you speak with. There's a lot of derogatory names for these sex workers who do this, and yes, this still goes on to this very day. Not as prevalent as it used to be, but some people would refer to them as lot rats. That was a common one, but again, they had different names for derogatory names for these women of the night who worked these lots, and not just truck stops, but where trucks would gather because they had to pull off of the road. But D as in dog, sex workers who work these truck lots, and they're easy targets, man. They're here now, they're gone tomorrow, and nobody cares about them because they live and they work on the fringes of society. Question number 16. What fine state prison is Jesperson doing Jesperson? What fine state prison is Jesperson going to be spending the rest of his pathetic life in? I can actually read. But yeah, okay, let me try that again in case you can't read it either. What fine state prison is Jesperson going to be spending the rest of his pathetic life in? Is it A, Oregon State Prison, B, Stillwater Prison in Minnesota, C, Angola Prison in Louisiana, or D, Walla Walla State Prison in Washington State? What fine prison is he going to be spending the rest of his pathetic life in? Lot lizards is another one, lemon pie. You are correct. There's some areas actually called them toads. I don't know why. I should put together like a list of all the different names. Some of them were actually pretty, inventive. I have no idea why they ever called them, these names. What the hell is a lot lizard, anyways? Right? Twitter jail. Question number 16 of 20. What fine state prison is he going to be spending the rest of his pathetic life in? Question number 16. Gitmo. They're going to be using Gitmo as a detention center for illegal aliens from America. They shipped, what was it, 10,000 mobiles down there that they're going to be using as a detention center at Guantanamo Bay. The reason why they're sending them to Venezuela or whatever it is now is because they haven't finished Guantanamo Bay. Not actually up and running yet. I'm sure they'll catch some more Americans and deport them as well. All right, the correct answer is A as in apple. He is in Oregon State Penitentiary, and that he will be spending the rest of his pathetic life in the Oregon State Penitentiary. Did you know? Method to kill. Almost every one of Jesperson's victims were killed by strangulation. In his confession, he admitted to the pleasure of hearing their last breath leaving their bodies before they went limp. Sorry, it's graphic, but it's true. He strangled almost every one of them. Question number 17. What was the sentence handed down to Jesperson for the 8 murders he was convicted of? Was it A, 50 years with parole after 45, B, 119 years, no parole, C, life sentence, no parole, or D, probation and a $61.95 fine? El Salvador prison scare me straight when I saw pics during COVID. I'm not even a criminal, right? Question number 17 of 20. What was the sentence handed down to Jesperson for the 8 murders he was convicted of? My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity. Give Joy Barr foot massage. That's his sentence. You have to give Joy Barr. But I'm sure maybe Joy would share some of her wine with him. All prisons scare me. I think that's the intended purpose, to scare the living shit out of people. Because it's not supposed to be a happy time. All right, the answer to question number 17 is C as in cat. He was given a life sentence with no parole. His sentence is actually beyond just a life sentence. It is a life sentence to be determined on length of time. A normal life sentence might be 25 years. His sentence is a life sentence with no ending possible. He will die behind the walls of the Oregon State Penitentiary. He will never be released. He has been deemed too dangerous to be released back out into society anywhere. So he has a life sentence with no actual ending at all. Not even a 119-year sentence would be good enough for him. Again, he's another pathetic individual, just like Christopher Watts. Every breath that he takes is one breath more than he deserves. Question number 18. When asked directly by the BOP, which stands for the Bureau of Prisons, if he was remorseful for his crimes, Jess Person only said what? A, I wish I could have killed more. B, if it wasn't for those meddling kids. C, Pauly Shore killed some of them though. Or D, no. Question number 18 of 20. When asked directly by the Bureau of Prisons if he was remorseful for his crimes, Jess Person only said what? You were terrified of the principal's office? I was unfortunately comfortable in the principal's office. So I spent a lot of time there. I never, well, I should say never. I did have to go to the principal's office once. But the principal's office in high school also had the guidance counselors and stuff like that in the same hallway. Other than that, I think one time I was ever in the principal's office. It was a messed up situation too. It had nothing to do with me. RuPaul made him do it. All right, question number 18. The correct answer is D as in dog. No. When they asked him to explain, are you sure you don't have any remorse for any of the victims or crimes that you committed in your life? He just said no and would not say anything else about it to the Bureau of Prisons. Why were they asking him the question in the first place? It was part of his evaluation where they determine his needs, emotionally, for in prison, what does he need, for kind of prison activities does he need, right? Then for his health, security, and and such like that. And is he reformable? Is there some kind of program he needs, like drug counseling or something like that? These are questions that they ask every single inmate as part of the intake, so they can determine their actual, number on the scale. And when they asked him for if he was remorseful at all, he only would just say no. Harmless little self-promotion time. I have a fan store where you can buy merchandise, mugs and hats and shirts and stickers and stuff like that. These are the mugs that I have. These ones are a black inside and black outside that just say murder, trivia, and coffee. And then 411 on the back side of the mug. But they are $15.99. Shipping and handling is based upon your location from their factory in Jersey. So if you live closer to Jersey, your shipping rates are a lot cheaper than if you live, say, like in California. Question number 19. Why was it important to Jesperson to write letters as the happy face killer to media outlets? A, people didn't fear him enough. B, to correct mistakes written about him. C, make sure no one else took credit. Or D, he just loved to toy with them. Question number 19 of 20. Why was it important for Jesperson to write letters as the happy face killer to media outlets? Sprinkled Donut, good evening. If I didn't say hello earlier, welcome, welcome, welcome. Or as Julie Brown would say, downtown Julie Brown. Anybody remember her? Downtown Julie Brown. Waka waka. Waka waka. Downtown Julie Brown. A VJ on MTV. Waka waka. That's how she greeted everyone to the beginning of her show. Waka waka, everyone. Waka waka. Copyright. The Fin, I'm getting a mug. There you go. I really, truly, greatly appreciate anyone who buys the merchandise. You know, that and the donations to the investigation fund are what keep this channel moving. Downtown Julie Brown. Yep. All right, question number 19. The correct answer is B as in boy. He believed that the media was getting the wrong information in the stories that they were writing about him, which was portraying him in a bad light. I'm not kidding. And he railed about this in his actual confession itself in the video about the media, not giving him credit for the horrific things that he did and the lengths of work that he went through to dispose of these women. Yeah, his job, again, that's how he referred to it over and over again. My job was to kill. But he wanted to correct, the information that was out there because he didn't have the address to the Jersey Shore house. All right. Question number 20 of 20. As a young man, Jesperson tortured animals. Later, he turned his rage on women. Then he started killing. What state did he first kill in? Was it A, Vancouver, British Columbia, B, Idaho, C, Oregon, or D, Washington? Question number 20 of 20. Don't leave after this question, ladies and gentlemen. We still have the weekly question of the week that you can answer tonight, or you can answer on Monday on the community tab here on YouTube. As a young man, Jesperson tortured animals. Big surprise there, right? Then he turned his rage on women. And by all accounts, during his confession, he said that he probably beat a half a dozen ex-girlfriends, physically abused them. And then he moved on from beating women to just straight killing them in his rage-filled motions. Inner Peace says, in a state of confusion. As a young man, Jesperson tortured animals and later turned his rage on women. Then he started killing. What state did he kill in first? Question number 20 of 20. The correct answer is C as in cat, in Oregon. He first killed in the state of Oregon. There are victims, though, in 5 states. 5. But he is doing life indeterminate sentence in the state of Oregon. No death sentence, even though most states agree he should have gotten it. Of the 160 people Jesperson confessed to have killed, the FBI was never able to rule out more than 30 of them. That means around 130 have been victims of just persons or they never existed in the first place. However, some evidence showed that around 40 may have been a possible victim that or may have existed. How did you do tonight on trivia? This is completely optional. Some people like to give themselves a letter grade. Other people don't care. We're just here for fun and entertainment value and to learn something, new about and somebody we didn't know about before. Again, it's completely optional to give yourself a letter grade. A, B, C, or D. Everyone is an automatic E in my book. You have rock star status. Sneak peek at the question of the week. This is the 24-hour advance notice of the question that will be posted on the community tab here on YouTube. Every single week, I post one of these questions. This week's question of the week is, should states that actively use the death penalty be allowed to carry the sentence out at any means? A, yes. B, no. C, maybe depends on the case. Or D, no opinion. Let's talk about sprinkled donuts instead. Not sprinkled donut, sprinkled donuts. See what I did there? That's the question of the week. You can answer it either now or you can answer it, on the community tab on Monday. Tomorrow it'll be on the community tab by 10 a.m. But normally, if you really want to get to it when a question is new, I usually post them a lot closer to 6 a.m. than I do, to 10. But the question is always definitely up by 10 a.m. Kitty Q missed 5. That's pretty good, Kitty Q. Of the 20 questions on tonight's trivia, I forgot to put that on there, but I knew only 13 of the 20, so I would have missed 7 myself, Kitty Q. And I'll tell you, I started learning about this guy by total mistake. I was researching another inmate altogether, and that came across Keith Hunter and Just Person. Total fluke of a reason, What the hell is that? Why is it not showing? Oh, this is, I don't forget. I don't know why the other one is blank, but somebody messaged me after yesterday morning's stream, page 2 news. I had mentioned that how little YouTube, not just me. Please do not think that it's just me, and I may have made it sound like it's just me that gets paid so poorly from YouTube Shorts videos. I took this snapshot of my YouTube Shorts video. My last one in the first 24 hours got 961 views. Hey, look, I gained a subscriber from that, but I made 7 cents off of 961 views. Now, let's make that 1,800 views. I would be up to 14 cents is what I would be, I would have earned. But that's how poorly, again, I don't know why people, are constantly, it's like, no, there's no way you're getting paid that little, that YouTube would give that little when TikTok pays so much more. Yeah, it's true. TikTok, pays more because they want stars and people who are going to make constant content, and they want to bring in these people to TikTok to grow the platform. And where YouTube, they don't care if I'm here today or if I'm gone tomorrow. YouTube could care less because they'll replace me with 10 other people. And that's the way it goes, and it has been for years with YouTube. They don't have to pay. They want you to make this stuff. They'll push it to you, but they're not going to give you anything for it. But I don't know why people think that I would lie about this stuff, though. I got better things to do with my time. But anyways, next Sunday, we are going to be doing trivia on Richard Chase. Richard Chase, the Vampire of Sacramento, is next week's trivia. YouTube is a juking machine. There's nothing to be sorry about, Gianna Marie. I knew what what the compensation rate was long before I ever made the first YouTube Shorts video. I knew what it was. 1/16 of a cent per view. And they must watch the first 20 seconds of the Shorts video instead of skipping it. Because you can put it on, go on the Shorts shelf and just swipe away until you find a creator you like. So they have to watch the first 20 seconds. If they don't watch the first 20 seconds of the YouTube Shorts, it doesn't count at all. You get 0. But 961, that's how many lasted past the 20-second mark. Because it doesn't even count them as a view. And you get nothing for it if they don't watch the first 20 seconds. So, but again, there's no reason to be sorry about it. I knew exactly what I was getting into when I started making them. Well, have you ever looked up Tony Todd? Yes, I have. The Family Annihilator from Florida. Very bizarre story. I have definitely looked up Tony Todd, the Finn, and it is one of the trivia nights that is coming up. Now, will that trivia night be next week? No, because we're doing Vampire of Sacramento next week. Richard Chase is next week's trivia. But the week after that, it could come up after that or one of the others. And I will tell you, the first person to suggest Todd, I have him down here several times. All right. All right. Elliot suggested Todd. Cement Shoes. Tamarin. Sigonel. But two trivia nights that are coming up is I'm definitely working on. I know because I work on 3 or 4 of them at a time. But after next week, so obviously next Sunday is Richard Chase, the Vampire of Sacramento. But one of the trivia nights that's getting closer to getting done is Ariel Castro. Is another one that I'm working on right now currently. But I work on them as I do. I don't just randomly pick these questions. I research the questions, and try to verify them with at least 3 or 4 different sources. I can't just take one source and say, "Look, this is the question, a question that I have." I try to verify it, with different sources. Yeah, sometimes their people are wrong. People rely upon the same source for their information, but they tout it as their own. That does happen from time to time. But yes, I am going to be doing that trivia night. Hold on tight, as my son would say. Hold on tight, Daddy. Hold on tight. Thank you again to everyone who was here tonight to play along with us for trivia night. I really do appreciate each and every one of you being here for trivia night tonight. It is Easter next weekend. You are absolutely correct. And we just happen to be doing, it on Easter Sunday. But yeah, I'm going to be here, even though it's a holiday. And my friend will be in town. My friend Tim, if anybody remembers my friend Tim, he will be here on Friday. He'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Will he be here in the studio while I do the trivia? That's up to him. Well, I know I say it a lot, but I really appreciate all your hard work. Thank you, Kitty Coo. I appreciate it. Gianna Marie, good night, and you have a terrific week ahead, and you stay safe out there. I really appreciate you being here with us every single week. Thank you. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I hope you have one as well, Cheryl. Whoop whoop. Tim's joining us. I don't know. It's up to him, Kitty Coo, if he wants to be on camera or not. It's up to him. I never pressure anybody, even though he'll be here. That's up to him. We appreciate all your hard work. Great trivia night. Well, thank you, Sal. Thank you very much. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and for those who purchased merchandise this past week or gave a donation to the investigation fund. Thank you very much. It really does help keep this going, and I greatly do appreciate each and every one of them, of the donations and those who purchased merch. But thank you. With that, bye, and have a great week.